There we go. We live. Woo! I love me some perch horn on a Sunday night, baby. Welcome to Speculation Sunday. Thank you guys for joining today. We got Just As Danny in the house. How you doing, Danny?
I'm good. I'm good.
Man,
I'm ready to start speculating.
today's full on speculation. I don't even care really to talk about the current situation at the theme park. I really want to speculate. That's what I want to get into today. But before we get started, I did have a chance to ask my community, the Fine Fire members, like what did they want to talk about. So I did have 12 replies. So I'll go into some of these. But before I keep going as well, I don't want to forget uh, this popcorn bucket. The winner will be chosen tonight after this video. I'll post a video where only the members could see it. It was taking way too long for me to put all the names down. I'll get it done. I promise. I'll get it done today. I will choose the winner for the Sweetheart Night popcorn bucket tonight after this live. I was just feeding the baby. We got Kimberly Moore, the possible future of Tomorrowland. I think I want to start there today, Danny. But before we get that started too, thank you guys for joining us for another Speculation Sunday. I appreciate you guys being in our live streams throughout the whole week. We had a lot of fun at Knott's Berry Farm yesterday, so we'll be talking about Knott's today. But just as Danny, where could we find your podcast? Talk about what's coming for you on your channel, podcast. Give us the info. Where can we follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me here on YouTube at Just Ask Danny, and also my podcast, the 5571 podcast. I just did a video on the Disney 100 opening day weekend. I went over all the things you shouldn't miss if you're coming for Disney 100, so check that out. And then I will have I have a podcast episode with Mondo from last week that was up on Monday, and I'll have another one come out tomorrow as well. So
That's what I'm talking about. Future of Tomorrowland. That's what we're going to start off with. Kimberly Moore asked that in the Fine Fire community tab. What is the future of Tomorrowland? The last thing we've heard was a DVC lounge in Tomorrowland launch bay. Not very exciting news whatsoever. The last other big thing that's kind of happened in Tomorrowland was the refurbishment that took a long time and probably a ton of money for Nemo. Other than that, Danny, I don't know. I don't know what the hell the future of Tomorrowland is. There is one thing looming big time. They said a long time ago, I don't know who said it. It was probably a Parks blog. But there's another run through coming for Star Tours. And I'm really starting to believe it's probably Mandalorian inspired. Because why the hell would you wait this long? I feel like that announcement was over a year and a half ago. What do you think, Danny? What's the future of Tomorrowland?
do you want to jump into that? Or do you want to do a Q&A first?
No. Let's jump into this one, and then we'll go Q&A next. Today's gonna be a fire live stream. This is all Speculation Sunday. Take everything we say today with a grain of salt. All right, let's go.
Yeah. I know recently, I think Mondo was sharing with me that Mice Chat posted like a speculation article about some of the.
Oh no, it was a live stream.
Oh, was it on the live stream?
It was on a live stream.
Oh, okay. With the potentially, Mice Chat had received some sort of intel, or maybe I don't know how, but they
Or
had
speculation. Maybe their speculation.
yeah, their speculation, maybe, who knows, but there was still something on the books for Tomorrowland. I think what kind of the speculation was that they had tagged Joe Rohde to take charge of the Tomorrowland renovation. COVID happened, budgets changed, a lot of things went down. During COVID, a lot of really high-end executives in the Walt Disney Imagineering, department decided to take their leave and move forward with their retirement during COVID and afterward. And and Joe Rohde was one of them. Now they all work for Virgin Galactic, which is a totally different story. But it kind of like fell off with him, right? So they're kind of on the drawing board again, it seems like. But we've heard a lot of things. Obviously, we all saw what was announced to be coming for Tokyo Disneyland. A very, very cool renovation to the outside of Space Mountain, which their Space Mountain looks very similar to ours. So it was immediately like speculated, hey, this could be what ours looks like. This is something that we could do. We have like a very similar space to Tokyo Disneyland as far as the way that's laid out. So that was kind of the speculation. And then, there's been many kind of musings over the years, right? About like the launch bay building and the Autopia attraction, plus the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, kind of all going away and making room for something, whether that was a Fantasyland expansion or a Tomorrowland expansion, we don't know. But now with the renovation of Finding Nemo submarine voyage for quite a long time, even to the point where they made it a big deal, right? Like you were saying, Mondo, they spent a lot of money on it. They like
Well,
did videos.
they were like, it's coming in winter, and it never came. Remember that?
Yeah. And so like they did videos on it, and they were really making it a big deal about its renovation. And so I feel like they wouldn't invest all that money if they had any recent plans to do anything about it. But I feel like we could still see somewhat of a small-ish renovation to Tomorrowland, and I think that's maybe what we're expecting on the books, right? We have the Disneyland 70th anniversary coming up, not that far off from now. So Disneyland turning 70 years. Obviously, they're going to have to announce something pretty big for it. We know kind of what's on the playing field over the next years, right? This year was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and Mickey's Toontown. We're also going to get Tiana's Palace restaurant this year. Then next year we're going to get Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and who knows what else. Maybe San Francisco opens next year instead of this year over at DCA. So we kind of already know 24 up to 24, but nothing really yet for like what's 25. Is that going to be like Avengers Campus? So the speculation that my chat has, though, this whole long-winded story, was that maybe we see a layover come to Space Mountain, and it wouldn't be all that hard for them to do, right? They could make it themed to intellectual property. There was a rumor a way long time ago about it potentially being Buzz Lightyear. I know like every blog posted about that, but with the recent failure, I guess you could say, of that movie, with it not doing as well as they had anticipated, my chat had reported that potentially we saw a layover for Space Mountain with Wally, which, in all honesty, I would not be mad about that at all. I think the Wally storyline would fit so well into Space Mountain, especially with like the whole layout of Space Mountain itself, the look of it, the feel of it. It could easily translate to Wally. You could have the where you're loading onto the attraction, and also the queue be themed to like the B&L spaceship. And then the actual ride through, kind of like imagine it being like the chasing Wally and Eve through the stars as they're kind of flying through with his fire extinguisher. Like that's kind of how I envision it. And it, playing the really cool music with projections. I could see them doing a Wally layover on it, and it would be really, really cool.
I would love Wally. I feel like Wally would fit perfectly into the Tomorrowland idea, the future space. It's already Space Mountain. When I think of Space Mountain, I feel like that's where a lot of eyeballs go as well. That maybe it needs to change. I wonder if Disneyland themselves are eyeing Space Mountain for like a different layover, like a permanent. And when we say layover, like a permanent layover. If we did get a permanent layover for Space Mountain, we're gonna lose the Star Wars version. What's the Star Wars version called? Do you remember?
Yeah, you're right. If we did get a permanent layover of Space Mountain, it seems like the idea of these temporary layovers for Halloween, and like Mondo was saying, for Hyperspace Mountain for Star Wars, those just really wouldn't be feasible, I would imagine, if they had a new version of the attraction that probably received a lot more theming. and things, unless they still maybe left room for it, for these temporary layovers, like when they have Star Wars nights and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like Wally would be an excellent permanent takeover for Space Mountain. It's not really, in my opinion, like an iconic Disney attraction like Haunted Mansion, where I feel like too many people would be really upset if, like, there's not a lot of nostalgia I feel left with our Space Mountain anyway, right? Like we already have like the three or fourth variation of the ride. It's not really like original at all to what it used to be when it first opened. We have a totally different soundtrack. Everything's like completely different about it.
I feel like the uproar is more in Splash Mountain than Space Mountain.
Yeah, so I
Like
feel
if
like,
Space Mountain got reimagined, I think it's more of like, oh, this sounds cool. Oh, it's Wally? Dude, let's do it. Splash Mountain, we already saw what happened in Florida.
yeah, I
And
don't
it's
know
going to happen again here.
I don't know anything about the condition of the People Mover track. I don't know if it's possible to do anything with it. I don't even know. But I feel like a pretty easy like facelift for Tomorrowland would be to redo everything paint wise or like building wise or theming wise. Little touches like finish the entrance they said they were going to give us, which they still haven't done. Finish that kind of would set it off. Repaint the Astro Orbiter and stuff so that it's not like brown. And then do the rest. And if they can put the People Mover back, that would be their biggest expense, right? I don't imagine that like the Wally layover would be that much of an expensive layover. It would kind of be like an Incredibles takeover of a California Screamin' type thing, right? It wouldn't be that expensive of a thing. And then a few maybe like changes to like the shops, like the shop underneath the People Mover. Maybe it's not called Tomorrowlanding anymore. Maybe it has like a Wally theme or something. But that alone as a refresh could be a perfect kind of like draw for like the 70th anniversary. So
Yeah. I want to give a big thank you to Arlene. 19 months of membership. 5 fires, Arlene. Thank you so much. Happy Speculation Sunday, and thanks for all the amazing coverage this past week, guys. Let's go. Thank you, Arlene. 19 months. Oh, my Lanta. We also got Grumpy Rich. Let's go. 8 months of membership. Thank you, Grumpy Rich, for 8 months. The new show at the Hyperion Theater, Hercules, Rogers, the musical, or something else. You both are 5 fire. Hey, we will talk about it. I promise we will. I promise we will, Grumpy Rich. One big one, too, talking about Space Mountain, Stitch, Experiment 626 Escape. Theme the queue as Stitch escaping the experiment lab and the ride him get into Space Pod and arriving on Earth. Who would complain about that? Nobody. Stitch, I think Stitch would be a property that nobody would complain. Like there's no, like, no, why Stitch? I would, like you said earlier, Lightyear. To me, it's like, really? Out of everything, Lightyear? Oh, man. Aaron Ford, 3 months of membership. Tomorrowland and Space Mountain do need some love. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. When I sit back, are we kind of like Disneyland's kind of settled in what it's going to be? And pretty much it's just like a bunch of reimagining now. Are they willing to go more expansion, or is it just like we're just gonna dream for Disneyland forward forever? You know what I mean? I don't know, Danny. Because when we do sit back, they expanded into Galaxy's Edge. That was all new territory we never had. Technically, Mickey and Minnie's is all brand new territory. Avengers Campus. I don't know if the lot expanded for that or not, but it's an expansion, I guess. I don't know. Like, is all we kind of really look forward to right now is reimaginings? Because Splash Mountain is going to be reimagined at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And then if Space Mountain changed, it would probably just be a reimagining. The Disney's in the books for reimagining everything, right, Danny? As long as I've been covering Disney, and I could pinpoint it to like before Tower of Terror ended, that became Mission Breakout. all of Pixar Pier or Paradise Pier, all of that just got reimagined. Nothing really got added when you really think about it. Jesse's Carousel reimagined, Incredicoaster reimagined. What's the Emotional Whirlwind? Complete reimagined.
Yeah.
Is there some reimaginings that I can't think of right now? I just can't think of off the top of my head. Is there anything else that's being reimagined? I'm trying to think.
I mean, Muppet Vision 3D was reimagined to
Phil Hart.
PhilharMagic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Monsters Inc. reimagined. I could tell you the future of Disneyland. A whole lot of reimagining. All right. Let's see. Is Star Tours getting a new version? Yes. We just don't know when. They literally said it like, I swear, over a year and a half ago. Yeah, Eddie says, Bob and Danny, can we speculate that Tron can come to Tomorrowland? What space? I've seen Tron with my very own eyes when I was on the People Mover. Tron is humongous. It takes up a lot of property. Where could that even go? There's legit nowhere. I don't know. I feel like it'd be nice if Tron's like a Walt Disney World thing and a Shanghai thing, and we get something else. Give us something brand new, never before been done. Is this a little crazy to say, Danny? But we don't need no more trackless Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway type rides. Can we change to a different ride system? And can we get off Toy Story Mania ride system too? it's too much. Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like dark rides, so I don't complain.
Pacific Wharf reimagined.
Yeah, yeah, Pacific Wharf's getting reimagined. So yeah, I feel like until they get like a a clear go ahead from the city of Anaheim and all that stuff for any Disneyland Forward type expansion into some of their existing land. This is kind of really all they can do, right? And with the 70th approaching, they've got to have something like up their sleeve, right? They got to have something coming, and there's still a lot of possibility for them to be able to do some things, in the existing space they have by removing some of those backstage areas, right? But they said they want Disneyland Forward for in the future, like way in the future. So they don't have to do that because they would rather not get rid of things that we like and add on to Disneyland moving forward. So, until that gets approved by the city, which it doesn't seem like, I guess maybe them announcing it the way they did, it kind of made everyone think they were going to do approvals much sooner. But really, the reason why they were announcing it the way they did is they just wanted to make the public aware of what they're wanting to do. So there was some community buy-in behind it because they have to have the community buying in this whole thing with them if they're trying to propose this to the city, because community leaders and council members and stuff like that, they're going to immediately oppose something that a large corporation's going to want to do, right? They're going to side with the people that live in Anaheim first, and the smaller businesses in Anaheim, they're going to side with them, right? So they're going to try to see what the impact of all this additions would be. And so they have to work through all that. So I think Disney just announcing it soon was just really them trying to make the community aware for it. They've done pop-up events in like local community parks talking about it. So they're really just trying to get the community behind it. I think that maybe misled a lot of other like theme park blog sites and everything to kind of give the impression that it was coming sooner rather than later, when really it's just a rezoning, right? It's just a possibility of the future. It's not really anything. And so people kind of think, oh, when's Disneyland Forward coming? When's Disneyland Forward coming? It's probably not all that soon. The only thing that's really looming on the horizon that's kind of something that Disney needs to get prepared for. We already know Universal is preparing for 2028, but like, what's Disney doing for 2028? You know what I mean? So
King Thanos.
That's the only thing. We got to see what Disney's going to do for 2028 to compete with not only Universal, but to kind of grab the Olympic, tourism when they come here.
Yeah, I don't know if Disney really has a ace up their, you know what I mean, up their sleeve or whatever that phrase is.
At least they haven't shared it with us yet, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, one place they won't share it with us, Danny? D23. The only thing they share with us at D23 is what's on the other side of Thunder Mountain over there in Walt Disney World. We got a super chat from Universal Studios Dad. He says, alarms evacuated Nintendo World today. I did see that on my, somebody tagged me on Twitter. I don't know details or whatever happened. I hope everybody's safe that was there. What I was told, everybody got evacuated and then let back in. From what I heard, there was a lot of Universal went above and beyond to accommodate people because I obviously a stressful situation. People were eating and in the ride, whatever the case might be, they were just accommodating everybody. So always shout out to Universal Studios. Keep everybody safe. Super Nintendo World is going to be a very big topic of today's conversation. But before we go any further, all this Tomorrowland, Tron, Space Mountain, it's all very juicy. But I want to ask, what do you guys want to talk about? Let's start off with the Q&A. I want to hear what topics, subjects, or questions you guys have. And then we'll go into what we want to talk about afterward. But
we got
post
a
in the
super
comments.
chat that you missed, Fondo.
Uh-oh. Who was it by?
Ian Grimm.
Ian, sorry about that, Ian. The chat's hot today. Super chat. What's up, Ian? Just finished 4 great days at Disneyland with my family in town. Thanks, Mondo Danny, for all the coverage of Disney 100. Danny, we loved World of Color 1 as well. I have only watched World of Color once, I think, still. I have to watch it again before, like, true honest, like, do I love it? Hey, I'm just in the mid. That's where I'm at. But Ian, I'm glad you had a great time, man. That's awesome to hear, especially with the family in town. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. What's your favorite segment from World of Color, Danny?
I really like the finale. I think that's when it comes. I think that's when it comes alive, is during the finale segment, when they really kick off the really like big ballady part of like the Start a Wave song. I think that's kind of when the show comes to life. But I think that both shows really play into the same thing, right? They like they
kind
both
of that
play
wondrous
into,
journey tone.
yeah, they both play into like the whole insecurities of like the theme, like the main characters, like, you know, in while Wondrous Journeys, right? Typically there's always like a villain segment of the fireworks show, and then there's like a recovery of the villain segment. And there wasn't that, right? And in this segment of the fire of Wondrous Journey, like the villain is like all the insecurities of the main characters, like, I'm not good enough, choose someone else. Like, it's all like kind of going in and the castle falls apart, right? Kind of like in Happily Ever After, how, like, you know, all the villains kind of tear the castle apart and then you rebuild it, you know, with the Hercules song. But
Dude, I love that
like the
part.
same thing.
Love that part. Yeah, that's true. They're technically no villain, huh? I didn't even think about it that way. Do I have that segment real quick? When does that segment come? Is it after Baymax?
I don't even. It's like in a weird spot. It's hard to find because I was trying to find it too.
Yeah,
It's like not the ending. It's not before the ending. It's like in the middle, but like after the middle.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Let me play it.
Yeah, this is like the villain thing, but there's no villain.
It's just Baymax balling, dude. Not gonna lie, that Baymax part hits you hard when you see it in person. Yeah. Oh man. We got another super chat from Corio Cerna. Hey Mondo, what about removing Autopia? Get rid of Star Wars Launch Bay to make a new ride. We need the changes now. It is so outdated. Dude, us covering theme parks, we've heard that phrase, I feel like a billion times. Danny, do you think Autopia is just so ingrained in Tomorrowland? Like it's just we can't let go of it. Do the parks in the other countries, do they have Autopia? Or is it just Walt Disney World and Disneyland?
I don't know off the top of my head if they have Autopias. I know that I know that Tokyo Disney Sea has Aquatopia. But I don't know if they have the regular Autopia or not. They have Tomorrowland Speedway, of course, in Walt Disney World, but I don't know. I feel like it's just such a it is an opening day attraction, right? So, it is beloved by some Disneyland loyals. So, getting rid of Autopia is kind of a controversial subject. It's definitely a big polluter, right? When you're over there, it smells bad when you're on the train. I feel bad for the cast members that have to work there, especially in the summer when it's hot and you have the gas fumes constantly just going. I mean, it's bad enough when you're backed up at the waiting to enter the station as a
Yeah,
as
when you're
you're
in the
returning.
train, dude, you smell the fumes.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think I'd like to see it change. We definitely know at this point, since they're building a DVC lounge on the second floor of the Tomorrowland, Star Wars launch bay. That's not going anywhere, right? Like they're making a big push to kind of really give the DVC members a place to be, especially with an all new villas tower opening up at the Disneyland Hotel. They're expecting a lot more Disney Vacation Club members at the resort vacationing, way more than they ever have because they'll have the availability. Disney Vacation Club members who go to Disney World are used to having DVC member lounges, right? It's a
Yeah.
thing. It's a common thing at Walt Disney World, and
Don't
they
they have
like.
one at every park? Epcot, Magic Kingdom, they all have one.
I don't remember. I know that at least
I
you
know
have the
Epcot
lounge.
does. Epcot does for sure.
Yeah, Epcot has one, and then you've got the top of the World Lounge on top of Bay Lake Tower,
Oh
which I think
yeah,
now
yeah.
is called Villain's Lair, which is weird. But it's still DVC exclusive, right? So there's a lot of like DVC exclusive things at Disney World, and we don't really have that. So they're putting that in there. Plus, the bottom space of Star Wars Launch Bay is utilized by a lot of like third party things. Like Disney has used it a couple times for some private event things, like when we were doing check in for what was it, like Star Wars night or something. It was like
Yeah.
down in there. They like that kind of flex space, right? And they can also do a really good job of monetizing that weird flex space like that, and you'd be surprised at just how much money they make from some of these flex space areas by renting them out. It can be way more profitable than adding something like an attraction. So, and when that's the case, we don't really have a lot of hope for for them getting rid of it to put in something like a Tron ride.
We
But
I honestly, the right answer is build another gate, a whole new theme park somewhere. Just I don't know where Disney could buy property, but they got money. Disneyland got money. We got theme park adventures with a super chat. They should reimagine Space Mountain. Half the lights are out on Lightspeed segment. Damn. Dude, that's what we were saying earlier. We started the whole conversation Space Mountain being reimagined. Um, I really feel like if it was Wally or Stitch, uh, that would be solid for at least 10 to 20 years, probably, dude. Like, I don't see a reimagining after that for a long time. But thank you, Theme Park Adventure. We also got another damn huge super chat from H. I love your videos. They bring so much peace. Thank you for sharing Disney magic. Hey, thank you. So much Disney magic to come with Magic Happens. And just recently we had Phantasmic return. We did a live stream on that, which was so cool. Disneyland's just firing on all cylinders right now. But thank you, H. I appreciate you joining in the Disney Magic and here with Five Fires YouTube. Thank you so much. What is up with the Star Wars night news? Nothing. Have you heard anything, Dan? Even a whisper on your end?
No, and we're getting so close to, we're approaching May, and I really hope that they still do Star Wars night. We did, Mondo and I did get some information that we would have some new and some returning, Disneyland After Dark events. So we know some are coming back, but we're going to get some new ones, right? And we already saw a new one. We're getting that very soon, the
Princess
Night. So, is that the only new one? We obviously already saw that we didn't get Merriest Nights. So was Star Wars Night another one that was on the chopping block? They just don't want to do it in favor of some other new one that maybe ties in somehow to Disney 100. I don't know. Mondo, the Disney World ones, they're just called like After Dark, right?
Yeah, they don't even. I don't even think they have a theme. They're just, here's a low capacity park. That's what you get.
Here's a low capacity park, and here's all the Coke and ice cream and whatever you want included as part of your price.
Yeah. So I think when you mentioned that, Danny, I'm pretty appreciative of Disney theming After Dark events because Walt Disney World, they almost don't care and they sell out anyways. Oh man. But thank you, Allie. Hopefully we get more news. My Alyssa, this was the one that I didn't have a chance to answer. It was a super chat last week. Danny, did you order your Tokyo Disney Mickey Sherpa hat? I wrote it last night and it keeps my head warm.
No, I really do want one of these, but I just can't. I can't spend the money on that right now. I have other things to spend the money on, and I know she really wants me to order this one, but it's like $50 or $60.
Damn, a Mickey Sherpa?
That's before you have to get it shipped because it's from Tokyo Disney. So you have to buy it through one of those shop websites that shop for you. So it's like probably out the door like $80 by the time you get everything done.
Is this what it looks like?
Yeah. I want a black one for sure.
Ooh, hey, but we're coming up to summer. Think about it in like September. Let me see. I'm just going through. Hold on. I'm trying to catch up. Where are we at? Here we go. Oh my gosh, it just like updated on me. There we go. I found the Melissa. Melissa also said I cried during Wondrous. Let me see. I'm just reading. None fireworks last night. I felt Small World is absolutely beautiful. Projections on Small World for Wondrous Journey are incredible. We got theme park and things. Super chat. Thank you, Johnny. My opinion, you don't touch anything Walt created. If it's original, leave it alone. If Walt touched it, it's off limits. Is there something that Walt was here and they just got changed? I can't think off the top of my head right now. I'm like blank right now on that. Is there anything that has been from the Walt days that got changed?
They've bbeen updated.
Just updated, but nothing like removed, right?
Not that I can think of. No, I mean other than like, like old attractions like Adventure Through Inner Space and like Mission to Mars and like some of the old Tomorrowland attractions that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, let me look it up. Opening day.
Did you already get the other super chat from Theme Parks and Things about the Purge Horn?
No. Let me.
That was before the one that you showed, so you might have missed that one.
Oh man, hold on. Let me go back. Oh, I see it. Oh my Lanta, sorry, Johnny. The chat is hot today. Dude, the chat is hot. Thank you everybody for commenting. We'll get to these. Super chat from Johnny for the Purge Horn and wishing everybody a wonderful day. Oh yeah. 5 fires. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you, man.
Hey. Yeah, we got NF in the chat. Mondo says the Skyway We also have the keel boats on the rivers of America. Those are gone. Um, let's see.
A ton from Fantasyland. So there's a lot of stuff that Walt has touched.
Oh yeah, the boats, the Fantasyland boats.
So there's a lot. There's a lot.
Mhm.
But thank you, Johnny. I appreciate your super chat, brother. Damn, the chat is so hot. Like, I'll try to catch up. Maybe says, did you hear about the Tron bikes not being accommodating to larger guests? Did you see Universal Orlando practicing a drone show? I love to get that at Disney. We love to get that at any of these theme parks here in Southern California, a drone show. I did hear about Tron not being accommodating, but then I saw somebody tweet, I'm 6'4", like 260, 44-inch waist. I fit no problem or something. I was like, I think what a lot of people were saying is like Flight of Passage is kind of like, if you're fitting on that, you're most likely going to fit on Tron. But obviously everybody has different shapes and bodies and stuff. We'll see how that goes. I heard not the best capacity with Tron, so we'll see how all that comes to life. I have a question. Why is Disneyland closing at 11? Is there a reason why? And by the way, going tomorrow after work. Probably just because it's Monday. I don't. Yeah, I don't. There's nothing else going on. It's probably just Monday. Let's see. Can they do a Tron overlay at Space Mountain? Damn. Well, they definitely could, right, Daddy? We talk about reimaginings. Tron, that would be. I guess that would be good. I wouldn't complain, but it'd just be like, I guess. Living with the Dream says, I hope there's Star Wars night again. I had a great time at the last one. I hope so too. The Princess Night was still not sold out as a dude. Princess Night is just not doing it, Danny.
Yeah, I talked to a few people today that said they're excited for it, but I just it didn't appeal to me. But I'm not a person that's gonna go like dressed for any cosplaying and related to a princess, right? But like people who are into that, like this is like a dream event for them. So some people are really into that.
Yeah. Linda says we had reservations for Nintendo today at 10, arrived at 8, and it was open. They gave us extra time. I've heard that from a lot of people that showing up early, you're just let in earlier. Universal
10 a.m. time slot is really the winning slot.
Is that the earliest one?
That's the earliest one.
Yeah, 10 a.m. time slot of Super Nintendo. You're gonna have a great time. You have like the 4 p.m., 6 p.m., or whatever the hell. I don't know how late it goes. You're having a bad time. Let's talk about Super Nintendo World. I really wanted to get into this one. Super Nintendo World, what I heard today is when people were getting their wristbands, I guess, somewhere either there or I'm guessing it's there. I don't think it's anywhere in the upper lot. They were able to essentially scan to get in the queue for Toasto Cafe. So come 10:30, Toasto Cafe was booked for the day. And I was like, what? I don't even know what to think about that other than like I would be pretty disappointed. Toadstool Cafe might as well be the second attraction for this theme or this land. I would be pretty bummed if I couldn't go eat there, and it's my first time visiting. What I want to talk to Danny about and speculate today. Why didn't Universal just envelop that restaurant outside the land, Panda, go all the way to Isla Nublar, right? They should have just taken over all of that, taken over Transformers, Transformers store, Transformer meet and greet. Might as well just taken over the Mummy and just Super Nintendo World. Because what it's seeming like, Danny, from like the early previews, it's not big enough. And it's almost like Universal's getting put on well, how do we fix this problem now? And then and all these problems are good problems because the demand is just unbelievable. And we haven't even, the land's not even open. where do you go from here, Danny? Other than we need to expand. Like, there's no other answer. What are your thoughts? Because Danny was actually there recently, so he got the feel of it all.
Yeah, I definitely think they should have. I mean, everyone who's watched this show or any other live stream that we yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Transformers ride or the franchise. And Mummy is old, right? And needs to go. Maybe they're using that for something else like the Donkey Kong expansion, but definitely think they should have taken more space than what they had. I think they were, you know, maybe under anticipating how much demand this would have. And I think it's going to have even more demand as time goes on, right? I was just looking yesterday as I was waiting for the fireworks in Disneyland at my progress inside the Super Nintendo World app, which is kind of like within the Universal Studios app. And there's so many different. There's like a gamification aspect of returning to the land with your power band, right? And there's these stamps that you can unlock, and it's people love unlocking stuff. Pokemon Go is a perfect example of people loving that kind of stuff. So but I was looking at some of the stamps, Mondo, that you can unlock in the future. There's going to be a stamp you can unlock if you go during opening month of the land. There's another stamp you can
What?
unlock. The stamp that all of us have unlocked right now is by going in wintertime. So we have like the winter theme stamp, but there's another one for the Halloween season and another one for the Christmas season. So you have to go in a certain time. So like people are going to want to come unlock all this, right? They want to be on the leaderboard. They want to, beat all their friends. And it's like a big, for some people, it's like a big deal. They like that kind of stuff. And so
Yeah,
there's,
like the whole competition aspect of it all.
yeah, and they really did a good job with that. Disney hasn't, really figured out with their Magic Band. But this is, it's Nintendo. They're not like new to this, right? They know what they're doing, and they worked closely with Universal Creative on this. So I just feel like maybe they didn't expect how many people would really be into it, and I think it maybe grabbed a larger audience. And honestly, the food cafe is phenomenal, and I think it has great food, and it's very highly themed, right? People they want to experience that, they want to be a part of it, and that's a big draw in the land. I feel like for some people that's more of a draw than even the ride is.
Yeah, even the
Uh,
power band. Like, I just want to go in there you're literally. It's almost like you're in the video game. This Nintendo world, you're in it. When you're in that restaurant,
yeah, so
all the windows are like a live feed into Super Nintendo.
yeah, so
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like they definitely should have started off with a little bit bigger of a land, but I think they were dealing with what they can. But I feel like this is definitely fueling whatever back end approval was needed to be like, hey, we really need this expansion into Donkey Kong or whatever they have planned for the additional, new stuff potentially coming for this. So let's hope whatever they have planned between now and 2028 for the Olympics, that Nintendo franchises continue to be part of that, because this has clearly proved that people are really into that and they want more of it.
Look at this comment, Danny, from Charlie. Imagine a Pokemon land where you purchase a Pokeball and hunt for digital Pokemon in the park, kind of like the Bounty Hunter game, but better. I would be there in a heartbeat. I, dude, if they created some concept where you're walking around with a Pokeball and it's fun and you're in Pokemon like land, you're in just this universe of Pokemon, God, sign me up. Sign me up. Uh, so I want to show this real quick. This was on my Instagram story from Craps for Memories. Not sure if this has been said. I foresee a problem I see a problem come the summer months. Very little shade, lots of queues, full in sun, no refreshments or snack areas, no re-entry. Bring snacks or cold drinks when you're going. It's a great comment to make because all of that is true. They since added like a honestly, it looks like a temporary soda stand where they're just going to sell you drink. But that to me, I don't know, dude. It's not gonna cut it. This land, it's really rough when your only option was to just get Toadstool, and then when you're walking in a Toadstool at 2 o'clock, they're like, "We're already booked for the day." It's, I don't know, dude. I really feel like we needed that second restaurant that's like a quick service. Um, Kind of how I just want to refer to Galaxy's Edge, where they have docking bay, but then they got Ronto Roaster. You know what I mean? We need that, like it needs that big time for sure. Needs that. I don't know. I I want to know what kind of contract Panda Express has, dude. We got two Panda Expresses at Universal. It's crazy. Like why is that Panda and then that little cafe? How did those stay? I don't. Those all should have just been Super Nintendo World theme. Super Nintendo's already willing to put something themed outside the land, like that little snack stand. Um, let's take a step back. We already know it's a S show of demand. Universal put a soda popcorn stand right there next to Jurassic Isla Nublar, and then it only has 3 registers with the queue that gets in the way of everything right there. Dude, they needed like 5 to 10 registers, just cranking out the amount of demand that's coming. I just don't get it, Danny. Do you feel like when everybody sat down, they're like, okay, maybe this might be busy, maybe this won't be busy. Let's temper our expectations. We'll cut the Yoshi ride. We'll cut the Yoshi quick service, and we'll take one of the games out, the musical games from Japan. We don't need that. We'll just make it a smaller version. I think we'll be fine. Like, I don't know how that all got, like, to me, it should have been the whole freaking lower lot, Super Nintendo World, everything. And we're going to open with 3 attractions. I don't know, dude. The way I feel like it's playing out, Universal's demand of Super Nintendo World is like unbelievable. It's too much. For the lower lot, it's too much, dude. And then, soon enough, we're going to get Halloween Horror Nights. Does Super Nintendo World stay open during Halloween Horror Nights? I'm really curious about that. I almost feel like some people would be willing to not do a couple Halloween Horror Night houses just to do Super Nintendo World. Like, I'm doing that better.
Yeah, I think with the Super Nintendo World, maybe they thought it was more of like a Jurassic World thing. You know, people were going to be more focused on the attraction and maybe some of the extra activities that you could do with the power up band, and not necessarily um, the whole aspect of going into the cafe. You know, kind of like Jurassic Cafe, it was popular, but not unmanageable. But I feel like we mentioned earlier, like with Toadstool Cafe, it's really the draw, right? People saw it for a really long time over in Osaka and Japan, and they were enthralled with, you know, how cool the food looked. It even still looks very Japanese here. Like, you know, it's very highly themed, and you know, for lack of a better word, a lot of the items are really cute too.
They're super cute. Super cute.
So like people want to try that, you know, that's a part of the experience. So I think maybe they definitely they didn't underestimate the demand for the attraction, because the attraction has an absolutely enormous queue that can accommodate probably a 3-4 hour wait. I would imagine. I mean, it's way longer than the Jurassic World queue, and that can accommodate a super long line.
Yeah.
So you know, they anticipated very high demand for the attraction, but I don't think they anticipated as high of a demand for the cafe. And I think that's where they're running into a bit of an issue and trying to figure out how as they get closer to the actual opening of the land, can they field this demand. And you know, we already saw kind of a preview of some of that, right? Universal announced that they're going to issue a $20 add-on that you can buy onto your ticket to enter Super Nintendo World before the park even opens, to maybe help get rid of some of that demand early in the morning and let people see it and then be out of it and then not enter it again. There's also going to be you know, Universal Express will probably play into it a little bit, where you can you know, have bypass the whole getting your time to enter the land experience and just go in whenever you want. So that'll be like another thing too. You know, the VIP tour, I'm sure, will offer similar accommodations. No word yet on whether or not the attraction is going to offer express just quite yet, although there is clearly an area for express on the attraction, like you can see the signage. So, that's another thing in of itself. But there's a lot of demand to go back on the ride, right? Because you got to unlock the stamps.
Yeah, that's the thing about Super Nintendo World. It's like a good and a bad because they made a land where you want to stay in there. You want to play the games, get the keys, get the coins, achievements, get back on the ride, get a higher score, get a snack. But at the same time, Universal's like, go back to the upper lot, get out of here. go 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 use your early entry 11 a.m. studio tour. Dude, they're in a weird position right now. Uh, I think what I want to say, Universal made a wonderful land, and people want to enjoy it to their fullest. Because for some people, this might be their only visit. So to leave in a 2 hour span, that's going to be really hard. To do a restaurant, the ride, power band games. Just kind of enjoy the land. It's really hard to do in 2 hours. I don't foresee people do it that fast because come opening day, and then especially come summer, and then the Halloween time, it's gonna get kind of ugly. The only answer I could think of, Danny, it's that Galaxy Edge motto where, hey, 8 to 10 a.m., you guys get the yellow wristband. Everybody with yellow wristband, you got to leave the land. We're going on to the purple wristband. They got the 10 a.m. to 12. And then just essentially kick people out of the land. I don't know how else you do it, dude. I really don't know. But then, like, is that good for business too, to kick out the crowd? I don't know, dude. You know what the right answer is? Give us Donkey Kong. And don't be a chicken and give us Pokemon. Dude, Universal has like a great problem in their hands. Like, there's too much demand. People want this like insane nostalgia. If they expand, whatever it is, I already know people are gonna love it. They're gonna come even more. It's wild. And when it comes to Florida too, oh my gosh, that I feel like the Florida crowd is gonna go even harder, right, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, once Epic Universe opens, they're gonna have the space, right? They're gonna have the luxury of space, and then the nice part about when Epic Universe opens is that it's not gonna be just a focused demand on Super Nintendo World, right? It's gonna be an aspect to it, but I mean, there's an entire theme park that's gonna be open that no one has seen before when they enter it. So there's not only gonna be potentially, that being brand new, but you're also gonna potentially have maybe something to do with the Wizarding World in that theme park. You're going to have something to do with potentially Universal Monsters. So there's a lot of new things that people will have never seen before. How to Train Your Dragon potentially. So this new theme park, I feel it'll be a lot easier of an experience for Universal over there because the space and also being that it's opening in a brand new park.
Yeah, and over here, it's like they had to probably work through a lot to just get that piece of land for the current Super
Yeah,
Nintendo.
and I was thinking, Bonda, like it's kind of they're in a weird place, right? Because it is a studio lot, right? It is a studio lot. They do film stuff there. It does seem like they're scaling back a little bit on some of the filming, right? They're removing historical sound stages, right? Like Super Nintendo World and this Mario Kart attraction were are sitting on a historical landmark soundstage that's no longer there, right? They're
Yeah,
currently potentially, rumors are showing that they're going to be tearing down like where the voice was recorded, and that's another historical soundstage in the back lot. So I feel like they're in this weird position because like Universal Orlando as a theme park is such a competitive monster against Disney's, Walt Disney World Resort out there, and it's standing so well on its own, right? It's becoming a destination in of itself. And so they see the aspect of like how great the theme park aspect of their business does, but at the same time there's that prestige level, right? Like this is Hollywood. This is a historical film set. Like, this is where movies and TV shows have been filmed throughout history. They show you that's on the studio tour. So there's that, like, how much theme park do they let in, and how much, like, because they could just get rid of all of it, right, and put in like this massive whatever, but then they just become like a, you know, they lose their level of prestige as this like historical studio. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Uh,
Now they're just a universal theme park. You know, and
another
then some
thing,
people might turn their nose up at that.
I was talking with Danny, and I want to ask this to everybody in the live stream. When you sit back and you think about Super Nintendo World, you know, I could be probably totally wrong on this. This is obvious. This is speculation Sunday. Like, I feel like there's a lot of money being left on the table, because from a monetized perspective, yes, the merch, but I don't know. I don't really feel like a lot of people are buying merch in the land. That they're probably doing that outside the land, because there's a lot of Super Nintendo World stores now. One at City Walk, one at the entrance, or two at the entrance of the theme park, one at the lower lot. Uh, you have the power bands to buy, and then Toadstool Cafe. Like, that's kind of their only monetized. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot more money to be made. I don't know. Like, when I was like sitting back and thinking about it, I was like, that land's kind of not making a lot of money, from like a different aspect. Like, uh, I'm trying to like really. What I'm trying to say is they could make a ton way more money. Obviously, more land would be needed, but like there's more opportunities. A second restaurant, a quick service. Like, I feel like the power bands will will that really stand the test of time, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Like, what is the next introduction, like, to keep the hype going? That's what I'm trying to say. What are your thoughts on that, Danny? Everybody in the chat, what are your thoughts on that too?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people in here talking about the golf course, and I think that's like also really confusing. Like, we have to remind ourselves that, like, what's around Universal Studios, right? Really, really, really expensive homes, like really expensive homes, where famous people live and rich people. And then you have the Warner Brothers studio, the Paramount studio, like a lot of, prestigious studios. The golf course in and of itself is historical and famous. I doubt they would ever sell to Universal Studios. It's like a very famous golf course. It's a lot of famous people use it. Executives use it, etc. I don't think it would ever go. But not only that, like, what are the rules there, right? Like, that's, people have really nice homes with view of a golf course. Do they really want nice homes with view of a theme park? You know what I mean? So most people don't want to be living right next to a theme park. So it's tricky. Like, Universal's in a weird spot, right? They have to really kind of hand pick what they want to bring in, and kind of how they do things. You know, I I'm kind of bummed, Mondo, in my opinion, of them closing those two shows to bring in a roller coaster. Um, 'Cause I just don't really feel like that's kind of what Universal Studios Hollywood is. But if that's what they want to bring in, I mean, I'm sure people will love it, right? They're not going to do a bad job with it. But it's just weird to me. Like, I liked the idea of the shows because it felt more movie like.
Hmm. I'm trying to think, because like I was thinking of the whole monetize thing. I feel the perfect answer is that Pokemon answer from a long time ago. That would
Yeah,
be
that's a great way to monetize.
total. You could buy the regular Pokeball, Master Ball, Ultra Ball. Just it could get wild. How crazy that could get. I don't know. I just, what I'm trying to say, having one restaurant and then the two register snack stand, there's like so much money being left on the table, all for Panda Express and some other cafe I can't even name. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, Universal, it's a good problem. Too much demand. Daniel B with 17 months of membership. Thank you, Daniel B. We were thinking of going to Universal in March. With Nintendo World opening, we are now thinking of skipping Universal and going to Knott's instead. You know, Knott's is never a bad option, but Super Nintendo World is literal. It's incredible. It's incredible, incredible theme park. Uh, I know this sounds ridiculous, Daniel B, but if you spend a little bit more money to get that express, you're almost guaranteeing yourself a wonderful day at Universal, S show or not. You're going to have a good day. Express works at Universal. It totally works. That would be my opinion. I'm not trying to say Knott's is not worth it, but Universal, you're going to get a lot out of that ticket. Let me see. Matt Go says the Animal Actors show was quintessential Hollywood, and I'm sad it's gone.
Yeah,
dude. I think someone said it was like 40 plus years. Like it was there a long time.
yeah. It's both of those were really great, like movie things, right? It's like about movie making, and that's kind of what the whole premise of Universal Studios was. Is like see how the movies are made, like live the movies, kind of thing. So, I know they're not going to do a bad job with the roller coaster, but it's just not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same.
We got Cy FPV with the super chat. Build a park near Vegas. Plenty of land there. Hey, Universal's already going out there. I know it's only for Halloween Horror Nights, but would you travel to Vegas, Danny, for a Universal theme park? Maybe like once every 5 years, kind of thing, right?
I don't know, Mondo. Cheap.
It's just because we're Vegas. Spoiled here. We got Hollywood, we got Knott's, Universal.
I think the flights to Vegas, at least from California, are pretty cheap, and it's not that hard to get out there. So I feel like it would, if they had a huge theme park like Epic Universe out there, it could potentially do well. But I don't know. I think it's too hot. Like there's that whole, they would have to kind of do it how they did it and how they started to build the theme parks in Dubai, where like a lot of it's like indoors, right?
Yeah.
So they'd have to probably do that because it's just too hot to leave stuff. Like you can't have a roller coaster like completely. I know like if you notice like all the roller coasters that are at in Vegas, like with the exception of maybe the one that's on the Stratosphere, like for the most part you're like indoor, like Adventure Dome, right? Over in Circus, that's inside like a dome that's air conditioned. New York Hotel, like their roller coaster, like you load it inside. It does have outside out, but you're not sitting there in a station outside, just baking away in 120 degrees.
Not ready for that. We got a new member, Tony and Carolyn. Thank you for joining the Fine Fire community. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much, Tony, Carolyn. And we also got Jar Bougie. Jar Bougie. What up, Five Fires? You two are the best out there. Love watching and always will. Bougie out. Bougie out. Bougie out. Hey, Jar, hope all is well, man. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, brother. Hell yeah. Also, check out Jar Bougie's episode on Danny's podcast from, I think, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Space Mountaineer. Universal will always feature screen-based attractions to immerse you into the experience or ride stepping into the movie experience. Universal, the Beijing Jurassic World is one of the coolest rides I've ever seen in my life. And it has tons of screens. And there's nothing to complain about in that ride. Universal, they do a great job. They do a great job with the route that they're taking now. I feel like Universal as a company, theme park wise, they've been stepping up the ante big time. Everything they've done. And I feel like the big turning point, I could be wrong. There could be something else. But I feel like it was Hagrid's. Once Hagrid's came to life, like it seems like they've just been on fire, dude. It's incredible. Let me see. But thank you, Jar Bougie. Appreciate your super chat, man. Summer is hot. How hot does it get in Vegas during summertime? I've never really
Like
been out there.
110 to 125, I think.
Can you live in 125, Mystery Bay?
No.
Dude.
I can't even stand 100. Get out of here.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know when you would ever put the car window down at 125.
You
Dude.
can't.
You want to feel
even,
that?
You can't even You can't even breathe the air for too long. It's like hot air you're breathing in.
Hey, I will say though, hey, people go to Florida. It's miserable out there. It's packed all the time during summer.
We're just visitors.
Oh man. Let's see.
The Big Black Guy channel says 100 degrees at midnight, Mondo, in the summer.
Dude, I felt that at Palm Springs one time. I went to I went to Palm Springs. I don't even know, maybe like 4 years ago, and it was literally midnight, and I walked out of my car and just like, ugh. And to me, my reality was the air conditioning for like a 3-hour drive or whatever it was. So when I walked out, it was literally 100, and then it only went up to like 115, 120 the rest of the day, like like that next morning into the day. Dude, Palm Springs, it gets hot, dude. And guess what? That's where we're gonna get Cojino, or what is it called?
Cotino.
I feel like saying Cochino. We're gonna get the Cochino Resort.
Mondo always has some sort of nickname for everything.
The Cochino Resort. Have we even heard anything about that out there, or
no? Other than the fact that on the D23 timeline they shoved it up there in 2024 somehow. I have no idea.
Yeah, dude. I feel like the land should already be kind of done right now, and then just testing and making it come to life from this point on. Dude, that project is like a 2028 thing. I find that hard to believe.
Maybe there's a Five Fires road trip going out there to check it.
Yeah, the Cochino update. We got Alfred. This has been asked a lot. I want to talk about it. Wanda, what's up with the news saying Mario Kart ride is not big people friendly? I'm a 3X, definitely above the 40-inch waistline. I'm not trying to say I'm proud of something like that, but that's just where I'm at currently. I hope to get under all that. But I fit. I've never had any issue with Mario Kart at all. From me visually, every time I've been on the ride, I haven't seen anybody get like a walk of shame. And I have a couple of friends who are just as big as me or bigger, and they fit on the ride. I posted a short. I posted a short so you could get a good visual at what this ride is, and I knew I would talk about it. Look at this. Let me bring it up, Danny. Here we go. Got it. So this is the actual ride vehicle from Super Nintendo World Hollywood. The back seat is literally, I feel like, double the size leg feet wise than the front. The front is kind of crammed.
Easily, yeah. The back seat's like way better.
Danny, I want to ask you, you're a tall guy. How did it work out for you fitting into Mario Kart?
I sat in both the front and the back row. The back was like 10 times better.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. I didn't have a problem fitting at all. I thought I might. I was a little worried that it would be like cramped for my legs because I am 6'3". But it didn't at all, especially in the back row. I think a lot of people get scared away from the test seat because I feel like the test seat kind of preemptively rejects people, but like in actual practice, they don't get rejected to ride the ride at all. So I feel like if you use the test seat, like it kind of like if it doesn't turn green, people are like, oh, I can't ride it. But then in reality, like they probably can.
Yeah. To me, I don't know a person that's been rejected from this ride. I'm not trying to say this is the most accommodating ride ever, but for me personally, I've had no issue. I've actually sat in the front as well. The front was tighter, but I had like a backpack in front of me, so is to be expected. For me, just for reference, I don't fit on Flight of Passage. What is it called? Okay, I'm thinking Flight of Passage, Journey Imagination. What is Harry Potter, right? Forbidden Journey. I don't fit on Forbidden Journey. I hella don't fit on Secret Life of Pets. But I fit on this no problem. No problem. I don't know if other people have had issues. I carry a lot of my weight on my belly, but for me personally, I've had no issues on Mario Kart. We did get a new member. Big thank you to Jason. Thank you for joining the Five Fire community. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate your support, man. And thank you for becoming a part of this awesome community we have here. Let me see. I'm just reading through the comments. Let's see. All right.
Five Fire's retirement community in Cochino Resort.
Dude, I'm still shocked that Disney wanted to do a living like complex resort. They've done it before.
Yeah.
Disney's done something like Cochino Resort, Danny.
They have.
Where?
I don't know, but I know about it because a murder like.
Oh my god, we won't even get into it. I don't know, but for Disney, Danny, to talk about some things that happened, the walkway from Jungle Cruise to like Indiana into Pirates finally opened. So that's really nice. We saw new rock work happen there. The other big thing that happened this week at Disneyland was Fantasmic made its return. And it's busier than it's ever been. Let me tell you that much. From your trip to Disney, did you find any updates with anything construction-wise or just like updates in regards to like not sightlines, but just like the decorations or anything like that? Because I know soon enough we're going to get out of like Valentine's and we're going to go into whatever March and April is going to be. I don't know if Magic Happens decorations are going to come or not. We'll see. But have you seen anything updated wise, Danny, at the theme park?
Yeah, so the walkway did open. So that's a nice clear walkway again through Adventureland and into Rivers of America. I walked over by Splash Mountain. No indication at all that anything was going to close at any time soon. We have the pending closure of, French Market just around the corner. Over in downtown Disney, we still have the temporary Wonderground Gallery in that little shop that's attached to the ESPN zone. It's really small. I feel like it's even smaller than the jazz exhibit was. So it's definitely tiny in there, but at least they've got something going on because the location actually and the construction that they're doing for that is the walls take up a lot of space actually in downtown Disney, around the former Wonderground Gallery and Disney home stores. But that's really kind of all the construction that was going on. I will say they're moving very, very, very fast on the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge for San Francisco at Pacific Wharf. My thought is because, a lot of people don't know, and we've talked about it on this live stream. I've talked about it in tons of my videos in the past, but that bridge that goes from the Pixar Pier area into the Pacific Wharf, people call it the Earthquake Bridge because it bounced when you walk on it. But that bridge, the water that it goes over, that water is actually the water that's for the Grizzly River Run attraction, which is why that water's clear and looks nice and isn't all gross and nasty like the one in Pixar Pier.
Yeah.
Because when and you can always tell whether or not the attraction is running or not, right? Because if the water in that area underneath the bridge is full, that means Grizzly River Run is down. It's not running. But if it's drained and it has like barely any water in it, that means the attraction's running, because it kind of like this. It's like a really nice green way for them to store the attraction's water and not have to kind of like pump in new water all the time. A lot of river raft rides like have storage systems for when the water shuts down and the ride has to be shut down, right? But right now, Grizzly River Run's under refurbishment. And when the attraction inevitably reopens, that has to be filled up with water. Like there's no way around it. It has to be filled up with water. So they're moving very fast on the bridge construction. I feel like San Francisco will probably take a really long time, but I feel like we're gonna see the San Francisco bridge like stuff be built really quickly, and then they'll probably just close that bridge, and then the only way to get in and out of Pacific Wharf will be through Cars Land or through that side entrance where the front entrance of Cars Land is. But when I was there today, Mondo, they already had dug out all 4 of the footers for the big pylons that are going to be added onto the San Francisco bridge right there. And they already have the big mesh like rebar footers like already in place for them to pour the concrete for these giant things that are going to go up. So it's like already done. Like I was shocked at how fast they're moving, but then I'm like, this, we're coming up on spring here, and they have to have Grizzly River Run open. Like it's not going to be closed until like summer. Like they already dug them out, and they have the things already in there. So my guess is they're probably just getting this part of the the redo done now, so they can fill it up with water, so that when the ride starts to work again.
Yeah.
So,
and this is a video from Food at Disneyland. He posted that.
yeah, it looked just like that today. There's right there is where the holes are for the footers of the bridge.
Dude, that bridge is gonna look good. San Francisco is gonna look really good. I'm excited. I'm excited for that project. We got a new member, Gustavo. Thank you for joining the Five Fire community, man. 5 fires. Thank you, Gustavo. I appreciate your support, my friend. Let's see. I'm just reading through the comment. We got Melissa with 4 months. Thank you, Melissa. Justice for Duffy and Friends. You see Disney bringing them to San Francisco, and also, are you planning to go to the Mickey and Friends launch? I don't have any plans, baby first. But I've definitely been eyeing some of that Stony Clover merch with the new collaboration they're doing. It's really good. I don't know what's gonna happen with Duffy and Friend. Like that's not on my radar, to be honest. I'll ask around some people's if anybody has any opinion, if it's somehow Duffy and Friends could come back to Disneyland Resort.
I think Melissa can just give up on that, because Disney's tried twice to bring it back, and it just doesn't collect with the, like, as many as people like it and you see them in the park, it just doesn't resonate with the average guest. They don't know who it is. They don't care to wait for it. And so they're not going to spend the money to implement that if people don't care about it. Like the hardcore fans, like who wear it, I feel like they wear it because they want to be different. They want to like have the Tokyo stuff. They can have it at Aulani because so many Japanese guests visit from Hawaii. And it makes sense that they have it at Shanghai because they're really into it as well too. It's at Hong Kong. But it just like, it doesn't resonate. It didn't resonate at Disney World. They've got it, of course, some of the merch in like the Polynesian Village Resort, but that's because it's like related to Hawaii, right? And they sell like some of the Olu stuff there, but it just doesn't resonate. You know what I mean? Like I welcome Duffy and Friends coming back to Disneyland, but I just feel like, they had a whole store, the knick-knack shop in Pixar Pier. That was all like half of it was Duffy. He had his own meet and greet with Donald and everything too. And it just didn't do well. Like Duffy was just sitting there and everyone was just like, who's that bear? I don't know who that is.
Duffy, I think he could come back in like an After Dark event. I think that would be a good introduction.
Exactly. After Dark event, like special thing. People would love that, especially the people that are paying.
Yeah, because then you're like targeting that audience. Like
exactly. But as like a general thing, like Mickey Mouse.
The Big Black Eye channel made a good comment. Just bring Duffy to Disney Plus. You'll see him everywhere.
There you go.
Disney Plus is the ruler of the land. There's been a lot of talk. I want to get into this real quick, just kind of not too deep, but there's been a lot of talk that maybe Star Wars is gearing up for a movie, possibly trilogy. I don't even know. It's kind of weird to think about that. We haven't got like a Disney movie or a Star Wars movie in theater experience in a long time. The next thing that is coming that's Star Wars is Mandalorian. To me, I love Mandalorian. Mandalorian is badass. But at the end of the day, I feel like they've taken too long. That Grogu hype that we felt in the very beginning, I don't think that hype is anywhere near what it was season one of Mandalorian. Mandalorian is currently doing meet and greets at Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if like there's still big crowds for that or not. I have no idea. I rarely walk into Galaxy's Edge as it is, but what are your thoughts on that, Danny?
On
Like Star Wars movie, maybe trilogy coming. And is there hype for Mandalorian? To me, I just feel like it's taken too long. It's just been too long, dude.
I think there's definitely still hype for Mandalorian. A trilogy, I don't know. I felt like we were done with the Skywalker saga. So unless they're trying to go with a whole new saga, whether it's like way like predating anything that has to do with the Skywalker saga, or like way after with a whole new set of heroes and villains, potentially. I mean, they're going to obviously continue the franchise in some way, right? It's they're going to do something with it, but I don't know that we see it right away. I think they're kind of they're waiting to see kind of how Mandalorian does. I feel like there's a lot more to flush out there still. So
yeah, and the reason I brought that up because right here, this comment, Daisy Ridley recently said she is open to return as Rey. I'm not a Rey hater by any means. The Disney ending of their trilogy they created, there's a lot of controversy behind that for sure. And then Disney, in whatever capacity and the important people that make decisions, in their eyes, they're like, they love this trilogy. We're going to build 2 multi-billion-dollar lands to Disney trilogy. And we're going to build a galactic star cruiser to this trilogy. It's just like, what? I'm still shook, dude. I'm still shook. I'm shocked. Like, there wasn't one person in that meeting that was like, can we just do Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker? Can we just bring Anakin to life? I don't know. Because the reason I wanted to bring this up, Danny, is for all the love, the incredible amount of love that Avenger Campus gets. Galaxy's Edge is kind of forgotten, dude, when you compare that land to this land. I hope Galaxy Edge comes to life in the next 5 years. I keep saying it. I hope it's like one of the most incredible lands we've ever seen by 2028. Will that happen? I don't know. Where's Bob Iger's, where's his vision, Danny? I know these are ridiculous questions to ask, but it's Speculation Sunday. Very soon, Disney has their stockholder meeting, dog. It's about to go down.
And also, Bob Iger kind of hinted at the fact that, they were going whole hog back again into some cinematic releases, back into the theater. So, that's a big departure from kind of putting everything on the streaming platform. It's not a secret that Disney has been kind of losing money on that front. But if you think about it, when you think about like Disney Plus and Hulu, like I feel like Hulu is really the only thing that's kind of churning out content in the same way I feel that Netflix is, right? With like some franchise stuff, as well as original content with some of their really great original shows. We have some original content coming to Disney Plus, but it seems really infrequent and more just only Star Wars and Marvel, and like a few other things like High School Musical and stuff like that. So really, like I really want to get to see a point where Hulu and Disney Plus just become one. I feel like having two is like really confusing. I'd rather just have them all as one platform. That's kind of like what Discovery Plus and HBO Max are going to do. They're just going to become Max, which is the weirdest name for that. But um, I think there's it'd be really nice to see Hulu come on Disney Plus and just be like an aspect of Disney Plus. Like when you're on Discovery Plus, you can click like TLC and Food Network and HGTV and like see all the different shows within that, all in the platform. So I kind of would like to see that transition a little bit. And I like the idea of it still being like a TV release for TV shows, but then also coming onto the platform too. So if you have that and you don't have cable, you can watch the new episode on that. You can watch the new episode on TV, like however you watch it. I think there's a lot of potential for there's some. I want to hear more Star Wars stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
and
think some people were saying in the
what
chat
I'm trying
here,
to get at, Danny, was that we already know Disney Plus rules the game, and it really relates to the theme park. Everything we've seen Avenger Campus, maybe them gearing up with this Star Wars movies in the near future, maybe more Star Wars projects. Hopefully it has impact on the land. That's what I'm trying to say. We got a super chat from Johnny. As a Star Wars fan, I feel Star Wars is dead. Mandalorian is the only thing kind of keeping it alive, and Star Wars Day, but that is it. Whew! Some harsh words right there, my friend. I like TV9. I finally built my lightsaber, and it was magical. Hey, I agree. I've had a chance to be in two of those. One of them was for myself on opening day, and then I took Sonic like a year ago. And recently, I don't know if people know, it went up to like $240, and it's back down to $215, which was like its original rate. And then there's new pieces. There's new pieces for Star Wars. So, or not Star Wars, for Savis. I haven't even looked at the new pieces. I don't care. I'm not going to build another lightsaber anytime soon. But hopefully, I see Peter's comment. I didn't know Peter was in here. You know what it is for me, Danny? If media never got that freaking lightsaber duel with Rey and Kylo and stormtroopers shooting their blasters, I don't think I would be so like, where's the entertainment, right? If we never saw that media event, I probably wouldn't even, it'd be like, it is what it is. We didn't get a lightsaber show. But the fact that we saw it like tainted me, dude. Do you feel that way or no?
I definitely do feel there's opportunities, right, for some entertainment, some more live entertainment. I know on Media Day they also had like Chewie and I don't know if Rey was a part of that, but I know Chewie and someone else. I don't know if it was Vi Marati maybe. Were like in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Like even just kind of having them walk around. There doesn't necessarily have to be a show. I think just kind of like have the ship kind of steaming, which I think it does when you hack into it with like the data pad and stuff. But like just have it kind of steaming, like maybe Chewbacca having like a wrench or something, kind of walking up and down the ramp. Like it gives it the feeling of like it just landed there, which it did, right? And this is a storyline of kind of where you're at, and you take over it on the Smuggler's Run attraction and stuff like that. But I feel like those things like would be easy little additions to kind of bring more life. They've tested some droids back again, right? We have R2-D2 and stuff like that. Maybe some other droids coming in. It doesn't necessarily have to be a stunt show. It would be nice to have something like what they have on the Galactic Star Cruiser over in Galaxy's Edge. Maybe even if it's only our Galaxy's Edge, because we don't have a Galactic Star Cruiser. We don't have that opportunity.
Damn, that'd be dirty if they bring the stunt show here, but not in Florida because they got the cruiser. That would be damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things, right, that we have that they don't have, like Mando and Grogu and all that stuff. So I don't know. It I really have no complaints with it, other than like I like the idea now that what they're doing is like breaking the timeline a little bit. So I like that.
Hey, that was the first step, right? The breaking of the timeline. So maybe there is plans. It just hasn't come to life yet. All right. I'm trying to think real quick. I want to get into this before we go into other like questions or comments. Peanut celebration. I was there yesterday. I had a lot of fun. The chaperone policy was dropped, and you could feel it. Saturdays, I guess, have been the only day recently that chaperone policy was in effect at Knott's Berry Farm, but that is no longer the case. For me, Saturday was like pack meter 10 out of 10. 3 hour Ghost Rider and probably who knows what else for like hang time and stuff like that. But Peanut Celebration, I just posted a vlog if you want to check it out. For me, the main event that I really wanted to do was the concert involving Jelly of the Month. And it was a beautiful concert. It was like 20 to 30 minutes. It was quite long. And it's just like Snoopy just taking over a bunch of songs and genres. It was a lot of fun. Anybody visiting Knott's either Friday or Saturday, and then some select Friday or Saturday, Sunday, and then some select Fridays. Make it to that concert. That's like the highlight of Peanut Celebration for me personally. Meeting the characters is always a great highlight. But I only got to try one food. But there's a lot on the schedule when it comes down to Peanut Celebration foods. I do hope to be back very soon. But right now, my priority is kind of like Super Nintendo World, which is like looming above us. And then Magic Happens. But I'm going to try to sneak in one or two more visits to Knott's. And then they got a lot going on with Fiesta Village. And soon enough, Montezuma. I forgot what the actual name is, but Montezuma's coming back as like a reimagine of something. So that's all going to be very exciting.
I sent you. That out there. I sent you. So Kitra actually sent me a link to Twitter. Someone posted a food item from Peanut Celebration, which looks amazing, by the way. And I don't know if this is on your books, Mondo, to try in the future. But it's actually a cornbread funnel cake. So it's a savory funnel cake, not a sweet funnel cake because it's cornbread. So a cornbread funnel cake with pulled pork on it and barbecue sauce.
Damn, I would love to try it. I don't even know what that would taste like.
I mean, this to me looks amazing. I know it would probably give me a stomachache, but I like the idea of a cornbread funnel cake. Like that's
for some reason, like I feel like I want to have this for breakfast. I don't know why. It's just like that's what's calling my name.
But I was telling them in the chat. I was saying this to me is like something that screams summer nights. Like, why are they putting this out during Peanut Celebration?
Yeah. One thing too for Peanut Celebration, they dropped like a chocolate cheeseburger. From what I've heard, nobody's liked it. But Peanut Celebration does come with some wacky kind of over the top foods, and obviously this is one of them. If I'm not mistaken, I heard this is good. I heard it's really good. I didn't even know this was a thing till like today, but dude. Shout out to Knott for bringing this creativity.
And you know what? And I think another reason why I like that, Mondo, more than anything, is that like when we saw some of those kind of themed funnel cakes that we were seeing in like the holidays and Halloween, it seemed like Knott's was kind of going away from the funnel cakes that they actually make there on the spot with like batter dropped into the fryer, right? And it was like they were dropping like half-cooked frozen funnel cakes that were already cooked into the fryer and just refrying them, which really is not good. And you end up tasting the oil and it's like makes it too crispy and it's not fresh and like really soft. And when you look at that picture, it's very, very clear that that was, freshly made in the fryer. Like they're dripping that right into the fryer.
I gotta click the picture because wow. You better share this thing because damn.
Yeah,
I've never heard barbecue, cornbread, and I guess like carnitas or barbecue. I don't even know what kind of meat, the pulled pork on a funnel cake. What?
But yeah, if Knott's is listening, like don't ever do that like pre-made funnel cake thing again. People come to Knott's for their fresh funnel cake. Like
I totally agree. The pre-made funnel cake is just not the same.
it's
Not.
not. Like we want like Knott's is known for a fresh funnel cake, so like make it fresh. Like we don't want pre-made throw a frozen disc in the fryer kind of thing.
Yeah, and especially when they did it during that Halloween season at the one on Main Street, Ghost Town. I did not. That pre-made funnel cake was just like, I don't want to get that again. Dude, cornbread funnel cake, dude. I don't even like, my mind can't register that. I'm trying to think of what that would taste like. I might on my next trip. I might try that. I feel like that's a video in its own. Just that funnel cake.
Charlie17 said that looks like I need to eat some fiber gummies after that
to get it out. Let me go to the community real quick. I want to see answer a couple more of the comments they asked. Here we go. I got it. I got another one. Do you think there'll be any big announcements at Super Nintendo World Media Day? And that was from Ian Grimm. Yes. Everybody that I've heard that's speculating on Media Day, there is a Media Day. I haven't been invited. Hopefully I do. I don't know if I will or not. I've heard there is a big announcement. And the only announcement anybody wants to hear is an expansion of the land. That's like the only announcement anybody wants. Jen says Sutter's and Log Ride Funnel still pre-cook the funnel cakes, and they sit on the counter until someone orders them, and then they top them. Ghost Town Grub always makes them fresh to order. So there you go. Go to Ghost Town Grub. I want a fresh funnel cake. If that even makes sense.
I don't want any of that action there.
All right, let me keep it going. Let's see. This is a good one. Rebecca Tapia. Why has parking been so crazy? Is this what we should expect every weekend? And what she's referring to is Disneyland was an S show today at the parking of Mickey and Friends. And it all kind of started from what people tagged me was like at 9 in the morning. Let me bring it up. Let me see. Here we go. At 9 in the morning, people started tagging me on Instagram at the Cali Bay, and it looked like this. So that's Mickey and Friends, and then Danny kind of felt the wrath of it all too. And then it became like this at 11, and I got a couple messages. They were like, "Dude, you're exaggerating. It's not crazy. The park's empty." Well, that kind of changed because later on, 12 o'clock, it looked like this still, and then later in the day at 2 o'clock, it looked like that still, and then to keep it going. At nighttime, that was the entrance, but that's Sweetheart Night. That's to be expected. At nighttime, it looked like that. That's what Toy Story lot looked like. From what I heard, I wasn't at the park, so I can't like tell you confirmation, but what people were telling me is that one cast member was working a booth. Usually they have like multiple cast members, so one lane gets ticketed and then the next lane on the right side gets ticketed, so they're just kind of happening simultaneously at the same time. They had a cast member work one side, do a ticket, go to the other side, do a ticket, go to the other side, do a ticket. Hey, shout out to the cast members working the parking booths today. Thank you for everything you guys do. But from what I heard, it was just like it wasn't staffed. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's what I've heard. The other thing I want to say, Danny, is this right here. The magic keys. Everybody wanting a magic key for so long. They've been available for quite a long time. Up to a couple days ago, the Believe kind of ran out. but you were able to get your magic keys. You could still get the most expensive one if you want. Uh, are we just finally seeing the wrath of the magic keys that were sold kind of coming to life now? Everybody booking their trips and whatever. Or was this? Is it always busy in February? Which I know it's not. But what do you? I want to hear your opinions, and then I'll go second, Danny.
I think the parking situation is just something that, for me, this is a very, very common thing at Mickey and Friends. And it's why I haven't personally parked at Mickey and Friends in almost a year. I don't park there at all. I avoid it at all costs because if you're in that lane, like we just showed you, and you're waiting to go into the parking structure, you can't turn around. Like, you're stuck. And so that's like an hour, maybe 2 hours even.
You got to see it through.
You gotta see it through. And like, if you have to go to the bathroom for any reason, drink too much water in the car, like you got kids, like I don't even like, I feel for all the parents in those lines with kids that like have to go to the bathroom and they're stuck in the car. Like, I'm sure they've seen it all, in that. And I just don't even bother with the structures anymore. It's constantly an issue. The cast members in the structure always feel like they're being so like overstaffed, or understaffed with like you mentioned, one on each side. I just feel like the issue they run into with the structure is just call outs, like, staffing. They just don't have enough staffing. Whether it's Disney not staffing enough for the day's demand, or whether it's they've staffed enough, but then they've had people call out sick or missing work. Maybe people are on vacation and they haven't backfilled it or something like that. And we run into the issue today where like there's one cast member doing both sides. Typically that's not an issue at Toy Story, but the reason why Toy Story looked like that today was because for the first time in I don't know how long, they closed the structure, which we used to see all the time in 2019.
You never hear that no more, Danny.
They closed the structure and we're doing hard divert to Toy Story. So all those people had to wait in that huge line at the Mickey and Friends only to be turned around and have to go wait again at Toy Story. So it was just a nightmare scenario all around. And I think it was just short staffing. And I feel like Disney needs to really step up the staffing in the parking areas and commit to that, because their parking experience is terrible. It's always been terrible, and it just continues to be that. And even like this weekend at Toy Story, we were there yesterday at Toy Story, and typically they load in every single, like as many as they can, right, at Toy Story, all the different stations when you're waiting to get on a bus. Yesterday they were loading everyone into only one station, and that the reason why that's bad is that includes all the people who are disabled and have handicap needs. Typically they've got their own area to load into, but now they were mixing in with all the guests. So like they can only accommodate like so many disabled guests per bus. And it was really like the line was just insane at Toy Story to get, and it was only one shuttle at a time. They were only loading one at a time. And the only reason for that isn't because of buses, because if you look around the corner, there were tons of buses waiting to fill up at Toy Story lot. The problem was there wasn't enough Disney cast members to accommodate all the stations being open to load in the guests on those things, because the bus operators, they're not Disney cast members. Those are Anaheim Resort Transportation cast members that Disney licenses or hires out to do the Toy Story lot transportation. But the people that load the buses and are at Toy Story lot, those are Disney cast members, and there was not enough this weekend. And so there was tons of buses around the corner just sitting there waiting, and this huge line at Toy Story of people trying to get on the buses, and there was just no buses coming because they could only have one bus at a time in that loop loading in the spot. And this is just a common thing. This keeps happening over and over again. So this is not the cast members' fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just they don't have enough staffing. So, they need to step up that. However, that they need to prioritize that, because with all these things coming, like Magic Happens Parade on the horizon, Toontown, like it's just going to get worse. And today was particularly bad because it was the event, right? That's why we saw today. Not only was it a Sunday where most of the passes aren't blocked out, so you have all the passes that were blocked on Saturday, which is like the Believe sometimes and some of the other keys, they're now blocked on Sundays. So instantly you have more guests on Sundays typically. And then not only that, tack on today was Sweethearts Night. So people came early or they came mid-afternoon, which where they normally wouldn't because they're coming for the event, So
Man, I I think it's just the perfect combination of a lot of people buy magic keys and they want to use them. These things ain't cheap. And today I think is a day anybody could have came. So all magic keys, this was an accessible day. One thing I'm still seeing, Disney's having a lot of same day reservations open for a lot of days. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Um, and I don't. Uh, when I saw all this crowd happening and people couldn't get into the parking structure to then get into the theme park like in a quick manner, well, guess what? You have 12 o'clock boarding groups for World of Color, and you have 1 o'clock boarding groups for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. There was probably a lot of bad experiences today because there's a lot of people that missed out on all that. So I don't know. We'll see how all this keeps playing out. We haven't seen the parking structures that bad in a long time. Because I always say the parking structures are like an indication, usually, of how crazy the parks are going to be.
The parks didn't feel honestly though that crowded yesterday or today.
That's what people keep telling me too, Danny. That
Yeah.
the crowd looked like that at the parking structure, but not inside the theme park.
Yeah, it was just like whatever was going on at the parking, like they needed to figure out their stuff. And that seemed to be, and you know what? That problem did not exist on Disney 100 Day. I didn't see any issues of parking that day. You and I rolled right in every day that weekend, a Toy Story lot with no issues, got on a bus very quickly every single day of that weekend. It just, something happened this weekend staffing wise. They just weren't ready for it.
Yeah. And one thing too, I'm still surprised. No Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway merch. I'm shocked. I am so shocked by that. Kind of crazy. Maybe they're just like they're waiting for Toontown to reopen. Did you have a chance to experience early park hopper or no? Because park hopping, if you don't know, it has now become 11 a.m. Which. Mm-hmm. That's a blessing. When you're at DCA, that's all you need sometimes is 11 a.m. DCA is like one that you want to come back to like later in the day.
Yeah, I was able to early park hop today, actually.
Hell yeah. I like that. You could start at DCA and have lunch at Disneyland.
Yeah, well, it's nice because it lets me be confident. And, typically I don't arrive like super, super early. But even if you arrive early, like for me, early is getting there like at 9. But like, Disney 100 weekend was different because we were trying to get there early for a bunch of stuff that was going on. But even if you're getting there at 9, you that only gives you really two hours, and then you can start park hopping. So honestly, I feel like we're as close as we can get at this time, and to just getting rid of the rule altogether. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. We're not quite there yet, right? But it's better than one, that's for sure. Because I was able to, it lets a lot more people confidently book like a DCA start and not be like, oh man, like now I can't go until 1. So like if they really wanted to go to Disneyland, they can do a DCA start at, and then at 11 a.m. just start at Disneyland instead of even going to DCA. The only thing that prevents you from getting is the 7 a.m. boarding group for Mickey and Minnie's, but that's only until the boarding groups, doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm. We got Rachel. As a cast member, they're waiting for Toontown to open. Once the land officially opens, the store at the exit ride will open. I can't wait. I want whatever the poster looks like when you walk into Disneyland on the right side, that they updated that. I want that on something. A hoodie, a shirt, a jersey. I want to rep Mickey and Minnie's. I love the ride. Now that you've been on the ride many times, Danny, do you think it's too jerky? Because I said that on the cast member preview. I really feel like a lot of people are finally saying like, yeah, dude, it's really jerky.
I can't, it did have like a lot of the same movements Like, even in Florida, the segment with like Daisy is very jerky. Um, but I don't know. The cast members here told us that the ride vehicles are bigger for us on the West Coast than they are on the East Coast because it was something Disneyland teams requested. I don't know the validity of that because I wasn't able to confirm that with anyone of an Imagineering or anything like that. Um, but and no one really on media day talked about that either. So I don't know the validity of that being true or not. But my thought is maybe if the ride vehicles are bigger, if they make the same movements, the movements just feel a little bit more substantial because they're bigger. That's my only thought behind it. But it was intentional, right? Like it's making those movements like in the Daisy segment because she's trying to make you like do the conga, right? So you're like kind of she's like da da, and then the ride vehicle's going like da da. So like the only time it didn't feel intentional was the very last car of the train doing that sudden backwards reverse before it goes into the canyon scene. Like that one completely threw me off. I like
I wasn't
launched
ready.
forward.
I wasn't ready for that
Yeah,
one.
I did not expect that at all to happen because I didn't remember that in Florida. So
Just this week, we got all these rumors about a show coming to the Hyperion. A lot of rumor about it being Hercules. A lot of rumor about being Rogers the musical. Uh, Everybody wants Encanto. Coco would be awesome. Honestly, Hercules would be one of my favorites because you have that comedic from the Hades. But I would love Goofy movie. I don't know if that could be a musical, but it would be sick. Um, what are your thoughts, Danny? If it is Hercules or any of these other things I was talking about, because Hyperion show it has been dearly missed. I didn't watch it all the time when it was Frozen, but I did go a lot when it was Aladdin. I was an avid. I would go probably once a week, honestly. What are your thoughts on the show coming back finally?
I'm excited to see whatever show is going to be there, right? If it's Rogers the musical, or if it's some sort of kind of like variety of a bunch of different Disney musical movies, kind of mashed into one, that could be fun. Kind of like the way they do on the Disney Cruise Line ships. Those performances, something like that. Um, a Hercules only show would be fun. Although all the stuff I've seen on TikTok of people that have made videos on it that are kind of more in the know on that stuff, it doesn't seem like it's probably leaning towards Hercules after all.
I know. I
Um,
saw that. I saw that.
so it's more other things, but like if it is Rogers the musical, like it's something, right? At least it's something because there we don't have anything that's there right now at all. So I'd be down for that for sure. I feel like it'd be a good kind of comedic addition that people would get really behind. It would be unique for sure to Disneyland.
I wouldn't mind to, or not wouldn't mind, but I would love if it was a show that involved many different properties. So not just like one. Kind of like the feel we got for Mickey's Magical Map. That was pretty. I loved how they just mixed many different movies into kind of like one theme. It was really cool. I that would be cool to me. It would be cool too if it involved Nightmare Before Christmas. Imagine if we got a Nightmare. Honestly, if we got Nightmare Before Christmas, I would just want that by itself. But if they do multiple movies or shows, whatever, I would hope Nightmare Before Christmas is added into that. It'd be really cool. Really cool. Let me see. There was a comment I want to bring up real quick because it's pretty interesting. It was Christine. She said, I was told by my friend who is a cast member that there will be no more reservations required after 2 p.m. Have you guys heard anything about this? It would be cool if, like, the first batch of boarding groups happen, and then whenever those are done, it just goes in a standby. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be. I don't even know what the first boarding groups would be for at that point, but uh, maybe that's like a good crowd control thing. I don't know. That'd be cool. I just want boarding
Uh,
groups gone for World of Color. I can't stand that boarding group. That's the one I'm to me I'm just mind boggled because like just let people fill it. If people want to fill the World of Color viewing, let them do it instead of like having this Color, I think having a boarding group for World of Color, its only intent is to you have this notion of, hey, I got a 9:15 World of Color, so I have to stay till nighttime. I think that's what it involves. It's like a psychology thing more than anything. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think what Christine's saying is she's alluding to park reservations not being required
Oh,
after
I
2
thought we were talking
p.m.
about Mickey and Minnie's. I was like,
No, she's talking
yeah,
about park
oh,
hop.
hey,
Yeah.
I would love that. That's happening in Florida.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what she's confusing it with, because this is already something that is happening in Florida. They're not getting the early park hopping rule change that we're getting, which a lot of them were pretty upset that they weren't getting. So we have the only change to us is that we can park hop starting at 11 a.m. While Disney World's change is that after 2 p.m. you just don't need a reservation. So this is confirmed, but it's going to Walt Disney World. But Disneyland has not said that this is coming there. So I don't necessarily know that that's something that they would implement here. In fact, I feel like that's a little counterintuitive here because most of our local crowd comes in the evening. So like and making it so that anyone can come just for fireworks is definitely not what Disneyland wants.
It would get crazy all the time. I already know that.
Yeah.
It'd probably get a little too crazy. Even World of Color, people would love to come, get a drink, get dinner, watch World of Color.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, I'm just reading through the comments. All right, closing thoughts, Danny. Closing thoughts on everything. What do you think, man?
Honestly, I feel like even though it's the off season, I feel like Disneyland's just offering like so much entertainment right now. Like coming in on a weekend day, and even in an off season, and going from like that really cool cavalcade to Phantasmic to Wondrous Journey, even if it's a projection only night. Like I feel like Disneyland's offering so much, and then when they add Magic Happens just in a couple weeks, um, honestly, Disney, like what more could Disneyland offer? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
they're like in summertime status, entertainment wise.
Yeah. So I feel like
Phantasmic, Magic Happens, Wondrous Journey, Small World Projections, World of Color, Food and Wine Festival. Damn.
Mhm. I know Disney kind of got burned, Mondo, from all the merch that they had come out for Magic Happens Parade. And then we saw a lot of it pop up in like the cast member, discount warehouse locations. Do you think because Disney got burned, they're just not going to have any merch this time around?
Nah, they're gonna have a lot of Magic Happens. I think Magic Happens is one of the most important things for Disney this year. The crowds are gonna come. I already know this parade's good. It's really good, and it's a new parade. In all reality, not no one really saw it. It was only here like 2 weeks. I think they'll have a lot of merch. Um, the Magic Happens, from what I keep hearing, it's gonna be the same show. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not speculating on like a new parade float or a new
Are there
section of the parade. I
any
don't.
word about any omissions, Mondo, like things removed?
Nah, I'm hearing it's gonna be. I'm hearing it's just gonna be Magic Happens, like a normal Magic Happens. But that's exciting because the normal Magic Happens was incredible. Um, One thing I just want to throw it out there. I feel like to build up the hype to Magic Happens, it'd be cool if we could get the character to do meet and greets in their Magic Happen outfits. Like most importantly, Aurora. I feel like it'd be cool if that could be a meet and greet to kind of hype it up to Magic Happen because she has a beautiful dress. The Magic Happens dress is really nice. Another thing, before we get out of here, I just wanted to throw it out there. The Royal Hall normally has 3 princesses do meet and greets. I really hope one day, maybe during Halloween, it could become like 3 villains. I just want to throw it out there. Nothing wrong with throwing something in the universe. But Disneyland, if you're watching, I really feel like that would be a good move because it just brings new life to that attraction. Just 3 rotating villains at the Royal Hall. That sounds amazing. But my final thoughts on everything. Disneyland doing an incredible job. Universal, incredible job. We'll see how they play out with demand. And tomorrow's a big day for Universal, actually, because they're bringing back the guests that had that crazy experience the first time around. They're bringing them back tomorrow. So we'll see how that'll be crazy if they get another bad experience. But for this week and kind of we're just kind of in that we're waiting for opening day Super Nintendo and then waiting for that opening day magic happens. So we're just kind of in that in between. But at the end of the day, Knott's, Universal, Disneyland, they're firing on all cylinders. They're all doing a great job. And I'm glad to have an annual pass to each one of those. All right, Danny.
I know.
Amazing work, Danny. Awesome Speculation Sunday today. Thank you, everybody that has joined us today for Speculation Sunday. You guys have all been incredible. Thank you for participating. Thank you to all the new members, the super chats, the likes, the comments. Thank you so much. Truly humbled by your support. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out and check Danny's podcast as you're going to drop it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We are firing it down. The Cali Bay. And just as Danny are calling it a day, I'm the main host, Mondo.